Everyone, welcome to UPSC Tree. So in this video, we'll do a brief discussion of the General Studies paper 1 that has been conducted by OPSC recently. So let's look at the question, Kovaliya question thila, and what kind of answers we can write to these questions. If you ask me honestly, most of the questions were geography heavy and history heavy. So geography optional, history optional pila would have done well in this particular paper. Let's begin. Would it be correct to say that of Odisha continuously rebelled against British domination? Comment. अच्छा जेतबेले comment थिबो you have to do a critical analysis. Critical analysis, the meaning being you have to give your answer in yes and no. Yes and no means you have to justify the statement, at the same time you have to criticize the statement. Now how do you begin this in this question? Say you can start with Paika rebellion, which was the first. Government of India has decided that it is the first war of independence. Pike Rebellion 1817. After Pike Rebellion, that was a major one. After Pike Rebellion, there has been various small rebellions. In fact, you can talk about 1857 revolution Revi. Some part of Odisha people were there. Veera Surendra Sai and Sambalpur. That issue also was there, part of the 1857 rebellion. So you have to show continuity, and in this one you have to show discontinuity. Data aspect you have to prove here. So a aspect would 1817 hala, 1857 hala, but if you look majorly, if you look at Odisha history majorly, 1857 pore most of the majority of the movement will start after Gandhi's arrival to Odisha. Gandhi comes to Odisha, that will give rise to a lot of movement in Odisha. So Gandhi's arrival is somewhere around only after 1915 and all that. 1950 Gandhi comes to India, then after that, after a while he will come to Odisha. So after lot of time, so you have to show that continuity was there. If you look broadly at the history, continuity was there, although the scale and the intensity kept on changing, but at the same time we can say that they were discontinuous in nature as well. When a particular rebellion was crushed, then it took for others to regain the strength and again go for the rebellion. So discontinuity भी देखेगा, discontinuity देखेगा पे you have to prove कि majority of the Odisha movements were essentially inspired by the Gandhian movement, and mass movement in Odisha started when Gandhi came into picture. Okay, बहुत गुड़े women from Odisha associated in the Gandhian movement, non-cooperation हेगला, civil disobedience हेगला, से aspect गुड़ा देखेगा. So till arrival of Gandhi from Pike rebellion, there we see that there is a degree of discontinuity and there is degree of continuity. Both the statement you have to justify. Okay. Done. So moving on, question number is done. So Maratha domination over Odisha in the second half of 18th century left the people dissatisfied even while it regenerated the culture. Okay. Acha, Marathas, I think if I remember well, this is a very small portion of Odisha's history, but Marathas कौन करथिवे ना जगन्नाथ टेम्पल को प्रोटेक्शन देथिवे and they will safeguard the Jagannath temple. So that aspect of our culture you can talk about here, that aspect of culture, but at the same time ସେମାନେ बहुत heavy taxation तांगर थिबो, exploitative taxation, चौट सरदेशी मुखी ये सब aspect गुड़ा exploitative थिबो, सेथिमे people will be dissatisfied, but at the same time they will safeguard the Jagannath culture and Jagannath temple as such. Okay, so that aspect you have to talk here. 10 marks question, 150 words easily lekhi paribo. Okay, I know this question usually students padhantini and may appear little difficult. Even if you don't know the answer, you can cook up some part of the answer. At least you can, even if you don't know anything, still you will be able to secure 2 or 3 marks out of the question. Discuss the location and distribution of iron and steel industries in India. देखो, iron and steel industries, most of them are located in, see, if you look at India, the geographical question ta pura India map karibo, you will draw the India map and then you show that the iron and coal industries are heavy industries heavy industries, being heavy industries, they are at the seven location is at the where raw material is found. Wherever the raw materials are there, coal, iron, joti, wherever you found, we find the steel industries over there. And another thing is North India re prayo to nahi, okay, because coal milibani North India re most importantly. So you have to talk about South India, and specifically the Gondwana coal. So ethi iron and steel industry dekhela beloku map re you most important place in India is Chhattisgarh plateau and surrounding region. भिलाई स्टील प्लांट हेगला, राउरकेला स्टील प्लांट हेगला, बहुत गुड़ा स्टील प्लांट सही बोकारो स्टील प्लांट सही रीजन रही अच्छी. सो दैट यू शो दैट हायर कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री इज देयर. देन यू मूव टुवर्ड्स से साउथ इंडिया जदि विशाखापट्टनम देखो, विशाखापट्टनम स्टील इंडस्ट्रीज अच्छी. एंड देन वी हैव विश्वेश्वरैया स्टील इंडस्ट्रीज इन कर्नाटक एंड ऑल. ओके, विशाखापट्टनम रे वेरी इंटरेस्टिंगली कोल वी डोंट फाइंड ओवर देम, बट दे कैन इंपोर्ट कोल फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रेलिया. सो इट इज मच इजियर फॉर देम टू गो फॉर दैट प्लांट. सो सही आस्पेक्ट गुड़ा देखेबो, विशाखापट्टनम देखेबो, कर्नाटक देखेबो. ओके, बट मोस्टली इफ यू सी बाय एंड लार्ज all of our coal and steel industry, iron and steel industries are in the South India, very less in the North India. North India प्राय तो नहीं, जोड़ी गोंडवाना coal अच्छी और iron अच्छी, we will find iron and steel industries over there. Okay, map करिबो and easily देखिए परिबो. Question number 4, explain the various geographical and human factors for industrial location in Odisha. देखो geographical factor हला, geographical factor can be advantage or a disadvantage. And Odisha जेहेतु 68% of Odisha is plateau, that means we are a mineral rich state, and जोड़ी geographical advantage अच्छी, we have gone for the industry. Here you can show the industrial cluster in Odisha. देखो first, when you are talking about industry or industrial location, determined by three things: land, availability of land and suitability of land, labor, skilled labor force अच्छी कि नहीं, and then capital. So the question is asking about labor as well as land. Capital ऊपर they are mostly silent on this question. So land, availability of land, how land is a challenge, land acquisition is a challenge. जो पोस्को इशू इतला, वेदांतो इशू इतला, you can briefly talk about that, how they posed a hindrance to the industrial development in India at the same time because it is a land issue. Okay, and then human factor also you can add into that. Okay, we don't have a very good skilled workforce. That is another reason that acts as a barrier for the industrial development of Odisha. Okay, so advantage, disadvantage देखेबो geographical रो, human factor रो, and then industrial location of Odisha. And one more thing, Odisha map करिबो and you show the major. See, if you look at Odisha is not a macro industrial region. No, it is a micro industrial region. Okay, BN Sinha को classification देखले, it is a minor industrial region. So draw the map. राउरकेला स्टील प्लांट टू लेगी मेजर से नालको देखे पारिबो, दामनजोड़ी नालको, अनुगुल नालको and all that aluminum factories. And then you can talk about NIMZ. Most important, NIMZ is National Investment and Manufacturing Zone at Kalinganagar, Jajpur. से aspect गुड़ा देखे पारिबो. So map करी देबो, that will be 2-3 marks. And then geographical advantage, disadvantage you discuss, and then the human factor also you discuss. Okay, human factor is two factors are there. One is the skill set factor, another is the political factor. Okay, politicization of things or industry can act as a barrier to industrial development. Moving on, explain the term welfare state. Okay, discuss to what extent India fulfills being a welfare state. Welfare state कौन देखेबो? See, if you look at Chanakya's, welfare state is not a new concept in India. It was there since the time of Chanakya. If you look at Chanakya, he talks about in the happiness of his subject lies the happiness of a king. So You can briefly talk about Chanakya, briefly mention passing reference, you talk about Ashoka, briefly passing, केवल गोटे sentence भितर ये दी जन को देखेबार अछि. Okay, you should not discuss history here. Then you discuss about the tenets of welfare state. Welfare state रा meaning कौन? What does it mean? If you ask me what is the meaning of welfare state? It is to take care of vulnerable section of society. That is what a welfare state is all about. And who is the vulnerable section of society? Children, women, SC, ST, our Divyanga. Okay, and Divyanga, and here Divyanga can be mental or physical, mental disability or physical disability. A aspect kuda dekhe. These are the vulnerable sections: beggars, people suffering from diseases like AIDS, etc. A सब aspect kuda dekhe. That means as a state, how well we are taking care of the most vulnerable, or most importantly, if you see, how do we take care of our poor people, that you have to show here. Okay. That is what a welfare state is all about. And then to what extent India fulfills the criteria of being a welfare state. So to what extent, to justify that, you have to show the social sector schemes that government is going for. Social sector schemes, okay. Jadi rural poverty eradication pai, we have Manrega, and we have, say, for agriculture farmers we have insurance. So for insurance, crop insurance, you can talk about PM, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, all that. Okay, all the schemes that government has done, say Matrutva Vandana, that sending 6,000 rupees to the pregnant and lactating women, that is also there. Okay, so all these aspects. Okay, children bank on Kochi government, and this I told you all this, and what government is doing, what are the schemes. Gote dita important schemes dekhevo, besi dekhevo because it is a 10-mark questions, we can't write much. Moving on, Mission Karma Yogi, building future ready civil servant. What is the meaning of future ready civil servants? Civil servants are often called as the regulators or implementers. But now the dimension has been changing. They are saying that the civil servants should be enablers. That means they should enable people to achieve their true potential. That is what is the Mission Karma Yogi is all about. If you look at the world now, or India specifically, the whole world and India are undergoing a lot of change. We see the society is transforming the way very rapidly. So that is the reason why we are undergoing a fourth industrial revolution. Different set of challenges are emerging, and there is a lot of, because of the transformation, different set of governance methodology we have to develop. That is what is the Mission Karma Yogi is trying to achieve. To skilling them, developing right attitude, all that. Okay, knowledge aligned to vision of new India, etc. So briefly, I aspect kuda discuss kari paribo. That means they are trying to inculcate bureaucrats who are technocrats, who have empathy and emotional intelligence, and who are well aware of what are the challenges that is happening around the society. That means they are looking, or they are preparing the future bureaucrats, or making the bureaucrats ready for the future challenges. Okay. So that aspect you can talk. 10 marks, so easily explain the demographic dividend. Pretty well known question. Demographic dividend, you can talk about the youth bulge that India is experiencing. Youth bulge is nothing but average age of Indian is 29 years. Now demographic dividend lekhila bele, one aspect you should, I always tell my student to write this, ki demographic window. That means 2005 to 2055. There is a 50-year window. Our young generation achi ebe, average age 29 year achi, but maybe say after 50 years, almost all of them will be old. A huge population from youth will shift to old, so we'll be a older nation that point of time as well. So we have a window, etiki window bhitare, within this time frame, if we don't take the advantage of this youth bulge, then it will result in demographic disaster. So, this aspect guda lekhi paribo. Moving on. Acha, they are talking about rights of sexual minorities. So LGBTQ, you have to talk about that. One of them is a gender, rest of them are mostly sexual orientation that you talk about, and this is section 377 IPC, decriminalizing LGBTQ. Okay, decriminalizing LGBTQ, mainstreaming them, giving them jobs, giving them reservations. So those debates have been going on. Okay, so a aspect would like that also you have to mention. Moving on, in India the agriculture and allied sector is the third largest. Okay, see, if you look at agriculture in India, much of India goes for paddy cultivation, and paddy cultivation is a water intensive crop. Because it is a water intensive crop, so in the field the water logging condition is always there, almost all the time it is there. Because of the water logging condition, there is a high degree of emission of methane, that is CH4. So agriculture we are getting the methane, and then allied sector is nothing but livestock rearing. If you go for more livestock rearing, say cow, etc., they also contribute significantly to methane emission of methane. So they are the major contributors of methane. That aspect you have to discuss here. Now moving on, examine the steps taken by Government of India to safeguard our national heritage. See, when I say national heritage has two aspects. One that is visible to us, another that is not visible to us. That means tangible and intangible. Tangible is say amar jatik monument heigala, jatik temples heigala, ancient monuments heigala. For that fundamental duties rehta achi. Apart from that, we have created different acts, and we penalize people if they do something or harm our ancient monuments. That aspect, tangible aspect is visible aspect, and how we are safeguarding them, that you talk about. Then there is intangible aspects. Okay, intangible aspects. What are the things we are doing? We are, say UNESCO Day, we are promoting the intangible aspects as well. Okay, say aspect lekhi paribo. Apart from that, how and when we say national heritage, you should not talk or think about only say the dance aspect or the music aspect. So Hindustani Carnatic music heigala ki dance aspect, we have the classical dances, we have folk dances, all those things are there, fine. Apart from that also you can diversify ki one of our national heritage is our medicinal system. Okay, ancient medicinal system, jaise Ayush will be wrong actually. If you look at Ayurveda, that is Indian. Ayurveda, Unani is not Indian. Siddha is Indian, that is Tamil Nadu is most famous for Siddha. So you can talk about Ayush, you can talk about Siddha. Okay, so that aspect and how we are promoting them. The aspect guda lekhi paribo. Okay. So tangible and intangible aspect division kar lekhi paribo. It will be much easier to answer. Moving on. Okay. Were the disturbances of 1857 a mere mutiny or a war of independence? So your answer should lie somewhere in between. Neither it was a mutiny nor it was a war of independence. See, many of the, so it is somewhere in between. See, if you look at the historians, they usually say that it was unplanned. Kintu jodi new NCERT, if you have read Themes of Indian History, Part 3, new NCERT, it is mentioned that one particular traveler, he will catalog saying that it was well planned. Okay, it was well planned, and there was so it was a planned one that you have to show ki 1857 was planned, but it was not only a mutiny, because mutiny will happen if there is only soldiers are involved. But we know that in 1857 almost everyone was involved, peasants and other people. Okay, other people, common people were involved. So it was not only a mere mutiny, there was a mass movement around it. That also you have to include in this aspect, so that you justify it was not just a mutiny. But then again, it was not exactly war of independence, because the leaders of the war were mostly fighting for their individual needs. Okay, somebody was fighting for their pension, somebody was fighting for their land. So Rani Jhansi se leke and all that, Nana Sahib and all that. So all of them had a individual need, and they were fighting for that individual need. At the same time, independence is a bigger concept, and that point of time it was not developed. Okay, in fact, nationalism was yet to develop in India. Patriotism, nationalism was not developed, or this idea of India as a single entity was not conceived at that point of time. So we cannot call it as a war of independence. Although this is a little bit glorification, it is not from a true historical perspective. It is not a war of independence. Okay. Savarkar will talk about this, so you counter that as well. So it was not exactly mutiny, not a war of independence, but because it was planned, so that aspect also you can talk about that. 20 mark लिखे होगा, and you talk about कि leaders थे, what were their needs, all that you have to write to justify that. The social reform movements of colonial India were only concerned with the condition of women and little else. Okay, comment. So it is a critical analysis. Here what you have to show that majority of the social reform movements were around the women cause. For example, if you look at Raja Ram Mohan Rai, he talked about a lot of things, but his most important mission was to ban sati. Okay, or if you look at say Savitri Phule, wife of Jyotiba Phule, her mission was all about women education or widow remarriage, all these things. Okay, majority of the events were dominated by the women cause, no doubt about it. But at the same time, not only, we cannot say it was only concerned, because a caste against a Gudai movement heithila, okay, that you can discuss, and temple entry movement heithila, that also you can discuss, untouchability upre heithila. So all these aspects also you have to bring in and include that. Education upre heithila, okay, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he was great advocate of education. He didn't talk about only women education, in general education he talked about. Okay, whereas Jyotiba Phule, Savitri Phule talked about women education or work on that aspect. So say aspect toda likhiba. It was, although aspect of women cause was dominant, but still other causes were there. So we cannot say it was only. Likhiba. Then next, moving on, given account of the Himalayan river and peninsular river system in India. Himalayan river system and peninsular river system, pretty easy. Likhiye hua aram ne. Himalayan river system, perennial, peninsular river system, non-perennial, and peninsular river system are very old, because it is part of the Gondwana landmass and very old landmass, and they have lost the relief, so they don't have great kinetic energy. Because they don't have great kinetic energy, their hydrological energy potential, or what we can say hydroelectricity potential, is low. Whereas Himalayan energy is, Himalayan rivers, they are jumping from the mountains, so they are full of energy. They bring a lot of sediments. They build huge deltas. So all these aspects you can talk about. Okay. Moving on. Okay, give a geographical account of natural resources of Odisha with respect to minerals and forest resources. Okay, so if you look at chromite, Odisha is the main producer of chromite in India. Then we have bauxite. We produce somewhere around 60% of India's bauxite. You can talk about coal, where we are producing 1/4 of India's coal, and we can talk about iron. Iron is, we are producing 1/3 of India's iron. So we are a major producer as far as mineral aspect that aspect you show, and then you show the mineral belt of Odisha, Keonjhar, Joda, Bodbil, sei region guda dekhe dabo. Okay, and then forest resources. If you look at forest of Odisha, we have the right amount of forest, 33%, and you can criticize also ki forest, if you consider it as a resource, then it will be a counterintuitive. Obviously, see, we have a lot of tribal people. Odisha is home to a lot of tribes and primitive tribal group as well, and our tribals are essentially dependent on the NTFP, that is non-timber forest produce. Okay, Tenduli, Feigala, all this, our tribals are dependent on NTFP. So that aspect also you can mention. Okay, but forest as a resources concept of the Nova, it will be very counterintuitive. Okay, only thing that is we can take it as a resource is the NTFP and timber product jodi neijwa, then we have the right amount of forest cover, then it will be harmful for Odisha. That aspect also you can discuss here. Moving on, the efficacy of collegium system has been challenged to time. Okay, this has been elaborately discussed. UPSC tree re 5 to 6 articles, very in-depth article be published heitila, so pretty easy question, everybody knows it, can easily discuss it. Question number 16, there is need to abolish sedition law. Aapre bhi I think UPSC tree re last before exam 5 to 6 articles thila, very in-depth articles. Okay, you can talk about Tilak, Gandhi, all of them were imprisoned under this sedition law, and it is a relic of British era. So it is a colonial hangover. That also you can talk over here. Okay, freedom and expression of speech. Yes. Okay, kahin na sedition law recently, if you see, there has been a 500% rise in the cases of sedition law. So say contemporary relevance deiki you can mention ki how it is not in the interest of India after 75 years. What's the point of having a law that is which is very broad and vague, and we can penalize the people. And sedition law जो section टा अच्छी सेटा mention करियो. Moving on, discuss India's contribution towards net zero carbon emission. Okay, here nationally determined contributions जोड़ा our Prime Minister has declared in Glasgow COP26 रे जोड़ा declare करिथिले the Panchamrit से aspect गुड़ा लिखिबो. And then you can talk about India's effort, International Solar Alliance, and what we are doing with renewable energy likhibo. Then you can talk about we are going for alternative energy, that is national hydrogen mission, green hydrogen mission ये aspect पूरा लिखिबो. So I think economic survey mu discuss करछि, YouTube रे भी अछि, and economic survey re you will find a lot of reference. In fact, I told my students to write all those aspects and the schemes that has been there. So this will help you कि सही यही question का answer करने पे economic survey will be helpful. Okay. Question number 18. What do you understand by uniform civil code? This is a pretty well known topic and very well discussed, and I think UPSC रे already article अछि, 5-6 खंडे article अछि, in depth discussion होइछि. So everybody knows that. See, uniform civil code, although it is desirable and it is a constitutional goal as well. Okay, constitutional goal as well. अब से aspect भी लिखिबो जो article टा mention related to it, article 44 I think. Why we need UCC and why we don't need UCC से aspect गुड़ा देखिए परिबो. Okay, and elaborately discuss होइछि. So I no need to elaborately discuss it. If you need me to discuss about it, let me know in the comment section. Then I will go in depth to discuss it. Okay. Moving on, discuss the role of non-government organizations. Okay, NGO and human rights. Fine. When you say human rights, one thing that comes to mind is Amnesty International. एठी तमरा prelims knowledge use करिवो. Amnesty International, but then आउ किसी मन को you don't remember anything else. So what you will do, you will now break down human. Now we can child rights opere ke what are the NGOs are working, women rights opere what are the NGOs working, what are the NGOs that has been advocating Divyang rights. Okay, child rights opere you can talk about Bachpan Bachao Andolan of Kailash Satyarthi. A lot of things are there. Then women related, sexual harassment related बहुत ही NGOs अच्छी. Okay, then we can talk about educational rights, Pratham NGO and all that. Okay, then we can talk about right to healthy environment. So there are environmental rights opre भी किछि अच्छी, they advocate that. So human rights is a very broad term, and you segregate it so that you find out the right examples and give the examples. Corruption in public life is a threat to nation's prosperity. Discussed it in length, so I no need to elaborate it. Okay. So overall, if you see, GS1 was geography heavy, was history heavy, polity भी बहुत भलो question आस्तिला, and it is a good change if you ask me. And much of the questions are doable, एमती नहीं कि non doable, but the thing is to do these questions you should have द accumulated knowledge. एमती नुहे कि एग्जाम किसी दिन आगु पढ़ी पढ़ेले और पाइगल ना हेनी. You have to have that accumulation of knowledge over the years and use that knowledge in the real exam. So that is what is very much required from you now and going forward. Okay.